2 of Feedback Friday. A lot of Viking stuff here, boys. A lot of Viking stuff. Let's start with Ben Robinson via the SKOR North app. He says, if Malik Willis is as good as he is touted to be and he falls to 12, why not just take him? I know the first 2 years of his rookie contract would be burned up because Kirk's under contract.
Right.
But if Malik Willis could turn into a top 5 quarterback at some point, who cares? You'd still get 3 years of him for cheap after Kirk's contract, and then you sign him to a big contract, but it'd be worth it if he is as good as touted.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
I think if Kevin O'Connell thinks that, so like if KOC goes into Kwesi's office and says, this is the guy, he is, if he falls, like we probably can't go up and get him, but if he's at 12, we have to take him, then they absolutely should. The contract thing does concern me because part of the whole game of drafting a quarterback in the first round is to get as much contract as possible on the rookie contract. And I think ideally you start at least where Trey Lance is probably going to, which is year 2. That being said, this is the whole purpose. I mean, one of the biggest reasons, if not the biggest, why Kevin O'Connell was hired, right, is to do what the Vikings have not done, which is identify the quarterback. Mm-hmm. So, yes, take him at 12 if O'Connell says, and O'Connell is staking his job to that claim. Like, there's no room now, in my opinion, to be like, we accidentally took a first-round quarterback and he's not good. But I'm totally on board with taking him at 12 if he falls, if these guys say this is definitely the talent.
All right, Declan's going to have to break the tie here because I disagree. Even if you think he has a chance to be this top 5 or top 10 quarterback, it's not a guarantee for one. Like, you can think that he's going to be and hope that he's going to be and you can develop him, but the first 2 years of that rookie contract are a huge part of the value. Mm-hmm. And because you've got Kirk locked in, it wipes out the value of the first 2 years of that rookie contract. And also, I would add this, because it's a new coaching staff and it's a system that Kirk is going to be sort of reintegrated into and learning new things, you're going to have to be so hands-on with Kirk and the number 1 offense. You're just not going to be able to devote the time that you would to developing that rookie quarterback. So it's so hard because I would love a top quarterback on a rookie scale contract, but the value isn't there until Kirk's contract is off the books. So I would trade out. Even if I thought Malik Willis was that good, I would trade out because the value is not there. Getting 5 years of a rookie scale contract is so much more valuable than 3 years of a rookie scale contract. I would trade back.
Yeah, I would trade back. In fact, let me write this down. Can I write this down potentially here? You guys tell me if this is a home run or not. I think it should be a home run. I'll do an impromptu home run because if we have to do one outside Wednesday, it's got to be a home run. Malik Willis will be available at pick 12. And the Vikings will trade back with the team.
Okay. We've seen it twice with the Steelers in mock drafts, so it's definitely.
Write this down.
I think if he's available at 12, a quarterback needy team is going to jump in. Mm-hmm. So if when it gets to the Vikings through the first 11 picks, Malik Willis is still on the board, the Vikings will trade back.
So if Kevin O'Connell tells you this is a top 5 quarterback, and these guys don't come around much, you're going to say that you are going to pass and trade back.
Yep, because I literally can't play him until the 3rd year. Okay. And by then, half of his contract value is wiped out.
I know.
And there will be other quarterbacks to draft in 2023 and 24.
Ooh, yeah.
So I know it sounds insane considering like what my ethos is when it comes to building a team, but you've already locked into $70 million of Kirk Cousins in the next 2 years. You need to be feeding him. Why would you do that if you're not going to feed him tools to work with in the next couple seasons? It would just, and it's crazy because Malik Willis on a rookie scale contract sounds so appealing to me, but it doesn't matter until the 3rd year. So Josh Geib via the SKOR North app says, I've never understood why teams are content with mediocre quarterbacks. If I didn't have an MVP or Hall of Fame level quarterback, I would always be looking to take a quarterback. If I identify a quarterback who I felt could be the next Allen, Mahomes, Herbert, etc., I would trade up and go get him. Seeing teams pass on a quarterback because they're content with the Matt Ryan, Kirk Cousins level guys blows my mind. If we pass on Malik Willis because we have Kirk and he ends up being great, holy bleep. It's kind of what Judd's saying. Mm-hmm. Matt Ryan's a level above Kirk, though, because he's like actually won an MVP and has cashed in by going to a Super Bowl. Probably should have won a Super Bowl. 28-3 lead, all those things.
Yeah, just a 25-point lead. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Richard Benson via the SKOR North app says, he did his own mock.
Oh my
Mock
God.
a day.
I want
Mock a day.
mock.
Here's today's mock draft. I resisted the urge to take a quarterback in the first round. It fell very heavy on the defensive side of the ball. He literally did a 7-round mock here. This is great. I want the Vikings to take a quarterback in the first round, but the Vikings will be criticized for reaching if they do. I dislike reaching as much as anyone. The one exception is for quarterback because they're so valuable. But so he winds up with Trent McDuffie at 12. He winds up with another cornerback in the second round from Baylor. Jalen Petrie?
Okay.
Jalen Petrie, yeah.
Okay. Then he winds up with a linebacker from Oklahoma in the third round, Brian Asamoah. A tight end from SMU in the fifth round. And then he winds up with edge, interior defensive line, a center from Washington in the sixth round, and then a safety in the seventh round. And PFF has graded this an A draft based on value.
Wow.
Oh, nice.
So how would you feel if they went corner in the first 2 rounds? Feels a little excessive.
It feels very excessive.
I wouldn't be
Corner in
upset
the
by it.
first round, fine. Yeah, second round, probably not. But you know what? This also depends on largely, does the philosophy of the draft, is it going to fit into the philosophy that we've seen so far, which is we are doing everything that we can to win immediately. Like at some point in time, do you deviate from that path or are you sticking to that path the entire time? I have no clue. I'm guessing they stick to it, but we've seen stranger things.
So Richard Benson bringing the mock. Feedback Friday.
Anybody seen
Richie?
Richie?
Ken Tomlin via the SKOR North app. First off, love the show. Been a loyal listener since the 1500 ESPN days. Thank you, Ken. I'm beginning to question the Wilfs' ownership and beliefs on team success. They've said in the past they want the Vikings to be like the Giants, Steelers, etc. This bothers me. It's nearly impossible to be like another team. The Vikings should be striving to be trendsetters and have other teams want to be like them. I love this. I've been saying since we started taking over Purple Daily on a daily basis, 2 years ago, the Vikings' identity when they're at their best in the last 25 years is high-octane offense. It's indoor track meet football. 1998, the early 2000s with Dante, 2009 with Brett Favre. Like, I know they've had some defensive leading teams as well, 2017. But to me, this in this environment, in that stadium, with that crowd noise and that fast track, Metrodome and US Bank Stadium, I would love to see the Vikings. You're not going to be the smash mouth giant Steelers. Like, go score 35 points a game and blow the doors off teams, just like you did at your peak in 98 and 2009. I'd love to see that.
And I think that that's a really good point about the fact that the identity should be yours. But it also, and what I don't like is it feels like the Wilfs of late have been largely borrowing from the Giants Super Bowl team that, Coughlin got that popped up. Like that's not an identity. That is fortuitous.
Yeah.
But that's not that's not a pattern that you can just follow. Like we're going to be not great. And then our players are going to be a good and go on an incredible playoff run. Like those are all very fortunate things. So I don't even know that the Vikings necessarily these days understand what the word identity means.
Well, how would you? I think
like it's not just popping up. That's not an identity. That's fortunate. It's not an identity.
I think it's almost like an elevator pitch or a one-line mission statement. Like when you think of the Kansas City Chiefs, what's like a 5 or 10 word sentence or less to describe them, or a 5 word or less sentence, right? It would be high octane offense.
Yeah, go routes.
Right.
Just football.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go football. Go routes.
Steelers, I think historically. Smash mouth defense run the football, right?
But the reality is that their last round of success was born when Big Ben was playing well and was passing the football. But you know what? Back to back, what's the most important word? Quarterback. Like Big Ben at his height was damn good.
Yeah.
Pat Mahomes is obviously great. So like we're talking about just a starting point of your quarterback, for the most part, is better than the majority of quarterbacks he's playing.
Yeah. Let's see here. Justin Nick via the SKOR North app. Love the shows. Go Wolves, Wild, and Twins. But I am a Packers fan, he says. Here's what I see as a Packers fan while looking at the Vikings roster. It was interesting. I like this perspective. Eric Kendricks was bad last year and hasn't been elite since 2019. Harrison Smith was fine last year but is not elite anymore. Daniil and Z are injury prone but most likely will be good to great players. The defensive tackles provide almost nothing in pass rush. That's a massive problem. It's true. The top 3 cornerbacks on Green Bay are better than any cornerback on the Vikings roster. Also probably true. Besides that, there's absolutely zero depth. For the offense, I love your receivers and the running backs are good, but they're running backs. Everyone has good ones. I laugh every time I hear Irv Smith breakout is coming. It's been 3 years. The second best player on your O-line is currently Ezra Cleveland. I think it's Christian Darrisaw. Still, I get it. That's not what you'd want. No one on the O-line is elite. I think Darrisaw was fine for a rookie, but you never know how he'll develop. NFC isn't great, so I could easily see the Vikings still being a 6 or a 7 seed. Oh, that's a Packer fan perspective.
I think it's actually very, very fair. I think the Kendricks thing is a subject that we don't want to be confronted with.
It's a little like Greenway the last couple of years, right? Where he's like great leader. He's the heartbeat.
But he's 1,000% dropped off. And look, you know what? His body's probably beat up to hell.
Yeah. Jeff Angel via the SKOR North app. He says, awesome shows the past few days. Thank you. In particular, last Friday's episode where you discussed the wins above replacement of a new Vikings coaching staff and culture. After the Chris Reed signing, he's the guard that the Vikings signed, I did a little digging and realized the 2001 Rams had the best pass block win rate in the NFL.
Football.
But they didn't have a single All-Pro or Pro Bowler on the offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
That can't be overstated, and hopefully it's something the new regime can implement. I'm just going to verify that. Let's see. Pass block. ESPN has this. ESPN pass block win rate. Let's see here. So, because that is interesting. And you don't need individual stars as much. You need a collective unit with no weak links to be a great offensive line.
Well, and I also think a very important question is, what level of play can your offensive line operate at that your quarterback remains successful?
Here it is. Pass block win rate. Rams and Chiefs tied at 68% pass block win rate.
And the Chiefs went out and spent on that line.
And to define pass block win rate and pass rush win rate on the other side, it's essentially, did you hold your block for 2.5 collectively? So the 5 of you, did you give your quarterback 2.5 seconds or more to do what he needs to do? Anything beyond that, sorry, guy, it's on you now. So if one guy leaks, it's a loss for the pass block, right?
Okay.
So the Rams were 68%, the Chiefs were 68%, the Vikings were 25th at 54%. The Dolphins were dead last at 47%.
They leaked a lot.
Mm-hmm. So something schematically, maybe there's some...
Need an oil change at right guard. Need some wiper fluid.
I had to get front and rear brakes done on my car the other day. Yeah, I had to get... I knew the front ones were getting out. Like, I've had the car for almost... I bought it 2 years ago, but it's now 5 years old. And it's at almost 40,000 miles. And I could tell the front brakes were starting to go a little bit because I have to really push down to come to a complete stop. And the front brakes are we're at 30%, which is pretty bad. Pretty bad. And the rear brakes are at 40%. So she did say, look, you could get by with these rear brakes for probably until your next maintenance and oil change. But obviously we'd hate to, your rotors could go out and then that's a humongous fix.
Yeah,
so I said, you know what?
Yeah, the rotor going out.
I know nothing about cars either. So
she
could say the flux capacitor in your steering wheel is off.
The gastric flonator is looks like it's
no idea, but
not working.
I just said, you know what? Let's do it. Just fix the damn brakes. Same thing with the Vikings. Fix both sides of your brakes here.
Just
front
put
side,
a
rear
coat
side.
Of paint on it. Just do whatever.
So you got Twin season tickets, new brakes?
And
Dude,
a new
you
lease.
must be, and a new lease. You must be swimming in cash.
I was.
Hubbard
I
must
was.
be Hubbard
I
must
was
be paying
swimming in
you
cash.
incredible money.
It's it might be a ramen noodle month for me in terms of my food budget though. So it's the checking account got a little had to move some money around to make
You
all
and
those
This is
Vinny
where
can
you
share a
call on
can
the
of-
gal.
you
This
and
is where
Vinny
you
can
call
share a
on the
can of food.
gal. Honey,
This
do
is-
you really love me? Because
is
I need some money.
This is exactly why, and when you're a media person, you pony up to your partner who makes double your salary because this is exactly why.
Yeah.
Case in point.
By the way, all right,
By the
if
way.
you're having trouble in other areas of your life too, maybe financially you're doing okay, but maybe you've got some problems in the bedroom. Valley Park Medical Clinic is dedicated to helping provide breakthrough ED remedies to men in the greater Minneapolis area. So they're highly trained. They'll work with you in a discreet manner if that's what you wish, and they'll make you feel at home so you can ask any question in a professional and confidential environment. The treatments are surgery-free, drug-free, and non-invasive. ValleyParkMedicalClinic.com. ValleyParkMedicalClinic.com. All right, Feedback Friday, a couple more here. Justin Vetter via Twitter says, I seem to be the only person that's extremely leery of Derek Stingley Jr. Without a doubt, his freshman year was arguably one of the best in history for a corner, but the injuries and lack of consistency concern me. I would feel great if Sauce Gardner fell to us, and I think McDuffie is being underrated. But in terms of Stingley, how much do you value upside and potential, and how much do you value injuries and inconsistent play?
I think the fact that Stingley's pro day was so good that if you're a Vikings fan, you're not going to have to concern yourself at 12 with him being there. So my guess is he's gone before the Vikings pick, but those points are good points. And look, he's coming off a Liz Frank, which it sounds like he's fine from, but that's a big deal. Like that can be a problem. But I think with the time that he ran in the 40 at his pro day, you're not going to have to be concerned about the Vikings not taking him or taking him because I don't think he's going to be available at that pick.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's so hard with these corners, but I don't love the fact that his interceptions have fallen off the planet and the injuries and stuff. There's so many great potential players available. I would just avoid the risk. I would just avoid the risk. I don't know.
Yeah, I think at corner he'll be gone anyway. So
Steve Weiner here via the SKOR North app says, listening to your podcast, this is the last one here, listening to your podcast about the Vikings, the games that the Vikings led at some point the other day, I was struck by the irony of billionaire NFL owners constructing their league as basically a socialist league, unlike baseball owners who made Maya Mackey outside the door.
Maya,
He's got
who's a good
takes.
girl?
He's got
Who's a
takes.
good girl?
Not a Manfred fan.
Baseball owners are basically running it like a corporate capitalist league, right? Well, part of this is the NFL revenue model is its national TV deals are taking up like a huge chunk of the revenue.
Maya
In baseball, she does.
She's like, yeah, Dad, you go.
Maya hates the greed of these old white billionaire baseball owners.
She should. She's
But
right.
in baseball, like 70 to 80% of the revenue is local TV contracts, and the Yankees are like, wait a second, we're going to bring in $500 million a year on our deal,
Right.
and the Rays are going to bring in peanuts. Well, why should we fund the Rays?
Right.
So the MLB needs like bigger national TV deals, but there's not as much national appeal to the audience, so they're not getting the money that some of the other sports are getting.
Yeah. I think the reality is if you like a sport, salary caps are good. Like if you like one team, the Yankees, Red Sox, or Mets, they suck, right? But I think if you are looking at the construction of the entire sport and trying to see as many good games as possible, salary caps help, right? Like they might not be fair,
Yes.
but they do help.
I don't think there's ever going to be a
on
salary cap in baseball, though. Like I think
No.
if there's a luxury tax,
No,
it's just
they won't. The players won't allow a floor because they see that as the beginning of a cap. So like you're not going to get a ceiling if you can't at least build a floor, and they ain't going to allow a floor.
Yep. Interesting. All right, that's your Feedback Friday here on
Great
Mackie
questions,
and
though.
Judd.
Great
Some
comments.
good stuff. Good stuff in there.
Guys
Yep.
do awesome.
Please click subscribe on the SKOR North YouTube channel and on the Purple Daily YouTube channel. We recently surpassed 40,000 combined subscribers, which is I don't know if we like thought that was going to be in play.
It's because I did a TikTok. It's because I'm doing the TikTok.
Because Judd did a
stuff.
talk.
The kids love
I'm
me.
sure that's why.
Old man doing talk is awesome.
The kids do love Judd. The sports.
They
dad.
do love
It's
Judd.
great.
Yeah.
I'm here for you, kids.
All right. We'll see you guys later, Mackie and Judd.